This is Bandar. Remember, Bandar had gone to Putin about a year ago and said, Putin, you stop supporting Assad, or we will terrorize you with terrorism. And Putin, I guess, threw him out or told him the interview was over. Bandar. I call Bandar the new Herod of this holiday season. The new Herod, Prince Bandar of Saudi Arabia, right? The dominant figure of the royal family and the intelligence operation. If anybody says pump oil like mad to hit Russia, to hit Iran, and to hit others, even these shale characters in the U.S., who we don't really need, that's Bandar. So the new Herod. And we'll be back in a minute on World Crisis Radio. The last segment of our Christmas week program. Best wishes to everybody. Best wishes for Hanukkah and all other festivities. Kwanzaa, if that's your holiday, and any others that I've forgotten, right? Because the idea is peace and goodwill towards people. And in line with that, remember, the slogan for this holiday season is Peace on Earth, Fire Allen. Peace on Earth, Fire ISIS Czar Allen. Merry Christmas, Fire Allen for Christmas. You get the idea with those hashtags, those sharps out in front, right? The diesis out in front. So we're looking at who's going to be the next long-term capital management. One other thing I've got to remember, we are going to have this course. It's going to be in the Washington area. It's looking more and more possible to do something around the 23rd, 24th, 25th of January. That is between MLK and the Stupor Bowl being February 1st. But we're going to be here, not stupefied, but with a total immersion weekend short course. So it'd be the equivalent of an actual 10 or 12-week academic course in many ways. So the rest of the holiday season, who's going to be the next long-term capital management? Right? That can be masked, I guess, during Christmas, but by the first couple of weeks of January, you're going to see who's going to blow. Who is LTCM this time? Read about it in Surviving the Cataclysm. But there are others now. Venezuela could blow. If Venezuela blows, which New York zombie banks will blow? Right? Used to be Citibank was the leader in Latin loans. Argentina, the Fed's, this character, Judge Griesa, has been attempting to drive Argentina into default. Maybe he'll succeed, and maybe it'll be Argentina and Venezuela. Will that blow enough of a hole? So this entire thing is very, very shaky. And, of course, the other thing that Putin might well consider is look at the BRICS and look at the BRICS Bank. The BRICS Bank can do all sorts of things. The BRICS Bank can also be of assistance vis-a-vis Russia, not for the purpose of throwing money down the rat hole of trying to support the ruble. Put those controls on and then use that money for joint ventures with China, with India, and so forth, and build up that BRICS Bank, because that's the real defense. Now we got to talk quickly about a number of things. Take a look at the Washington Post this week. Interesting article. It's called A Black Hole for Our Best and the Brightest. Wall Street is expanding, and the economy is worse off for it. And the idea is that the financial part has undergone hypertrophy. It's too big. The financial industry has doubled in size as a share of the economy in the past 50 years, but it hasn't gotten any better at growth, profit, and jobs. In 2012, economists at the International Monetary Fund analyzed data across years and countries and concluded that in some countries, including the U.S., the financial sector had grown so large that it was slowing economic growth using a different methodology. The most prominent researcher on the size and economic value of Wall Street, a New York University economist named Thomas Philippon, estimates that the United States is sinking nearly $300 billion per year too much into finance. The $300 billion is approximately one estimate that we have of the take on the Wall Street sales tax. Slap on a 1% Wall Street sales tax, you'll cut the financial sector down to sustainable proportions. Perhaps the starkest illustration here still in the Washington Post. Economists from Harvard University and the University of Chicago wrote in a recent paper that every dollar a worker earns in a research field makes the economy $5 better off. That's like NASA. Every dollar a similar worker earns in finance is a drain, making the economy 60 cents worse off. Well, that's because scientific research is production and financial speculation is not production. It's a net drain. You got it. There's such a thing as production and not. Now, we want to congratulate Obama on normalizing with Greece. We'll probably spend some time profiling the Miami Cuban machine, right? These oligarchs, the Ross Leightonens, the Diaz Balarts, but then also the Orlando Bosch and the Luis Posada Carriles gang. When we look at the CIA Cubans, from the Bay of Pigs to JFK to Watergate, Iran-Contra, and I think 9/11 in South Florida where those pilots were supposedly training. That looks JM Wave, CIA Miami station, the CIA mission to those reactionary Cubans. Bad for the U.S. So we welcome the normalization of relations. Now, one hopeful sign, a kind of an epiphany that can be coming early in the new year. The presidency of Greece is on the line. Now, there's been one attempt this past week to elect a president of Greece. This is done in the parliament, right, by electors, right? It's not a mass vote. They tried to get the right-wing candidate, the reactionary, the Samaras candidate, into the presidency of Greece. It's failed. There's going to be another vote on Christmas Eve on the 23rd of December, and I hope we'll be able to bring it to you next week. We're going to have another vote to try to elect the president of Greece. If that fails, there's going to be a general election sometime in January, February, and I hope it will be an epiphany. I hope it's going to be the victory of Syriza, of Alexis Tsipras and his anti-IMF, anti-Troika, anti-Memorandum of Understanding, anti-conditionalities, no to the European Central Bank, the European Commission, and the IMF, no Troika. That's going to be Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras of Greece, and that's going to mean a huge debate worldwide on economics. So start reading economics. Start reading Surviving the Cataclysm. I think it's, all in all, still by far the best, better than Piketty. Talks about production and non-production, which Piketty can't seem to understand. Philippon can't seem to understand that either. The traditional classical economics just doesn't have that, right? Production. What is that? Productivity. No, doesn't exist. So Greece may awaken the world into some kind of a Southern European springtime. By the way, the Grillo movement is collapsing. This demagogic movement, which is anti-infrastructure, collapsing under the weight of the monstrous personality of Grillo. But any pseudo-leftist or left-liberal mushhead who thought that Grillo had the answer, he expelled 2 or 3 of his senators, and now he's got an expulsion list of about 20, and the whole thing is gonna break up. And Grillo is moving more and more to the right as an anti-immigrant racist. Those are his true colors, right? He's a pujadiste, he's a qualunquista, he's a petty bourgeois, racist, and reactionary radical. So all of that is going. Finally, the proposition of Christmas, right? God is willing to come into the world. God is willing to become flesh, just like us. It means that the material universe, and for that matter, the human body, is not necessarily evil. be evil, but it could be good. It's up to you. Free will. So,